Coming up on the Running Report, World Athletics postponed the World Relays, New York Marathon Roundup with Sam Parsons, and NCAA Cross Country Conference Roundup starting now. You're watching the Running Report show on Fan Hub TF. I'm Joshua Potts, Mr. Possible, here to give you running news produced for and by the culture, and that's by talking about NCAA Cross Country Conference Roundup. And we gotta start off with the sweeps galore that I've seen across the entire nation on the men and women's side for the team title. And first in the SEC, we saw Alabama, Big Sky, we saw NAU, the West Coast Conference, BYU. In the Big West Conference, Cal Poly Slow, and Big 12, OK State, Oklahoma State. The Cowboys did their thing, and then all these teams won on the men and women's side, just really asserting their dominance at what they do in this cross-country thing. And I think the thing that's really interesting from these sweeps is that two of these teams that went out there are going to be in the same conference next year. Yes, that's BYU moving from the West Coast Conference to the Big 12 Conference next year, competing against a team like OK State on both sides, which is going to be super interesting just to see how that really pans out next year. And we talked about Alabama doing that sweep. The men had an amazing race, and now they're on top of the South region in the cross-country ranking. The Alabama men won their first SEC title since 2009 with a strong 1-2-3 contingent with a 1-4-7 finish. Vincent Kiprop went out there and outdid Dylan Jacobs and Yasin Abdullah from Tennessee with the victory, and really leading the Roll Tide Alabama to that victory. Another thing is that I gotta talk about Pac-12's Colorado versus Utah on the women's side, a huge tie breaker that was just insane, bruh. You got Emily Venters led on the Utah side, trying to outbeat her team from last year, but nah, the transfer from Colorado, Haley Bernstein, came in there and she just really set the day. At 4K to go, she separated from the field, and then she had Emily Covert and a whole contingent of ladies leading that team to a victory, moving up one spot, leapfrogging Utah in the mountain rankings. But now they get the race NAU, New Mexico, BYU in that mountain region, making that mountain region seem even more stacked. And speaking of incredible performances, we had Cal Poly San Luis Obispo really went out there. There's one of those teams that sweep on the men and women's side that we've seen across the nation like so many others. But the real story from this has to be Ryan Van Hoy, the former cross-country and distance coach at Ole Miss. In his first season out Cal Poly Slow, just brings them back to dominance. In the past 2 years, Cal Poly Slow hasn't won a conference title for the Big West, and they've done it several times before then. And they come back this year and went on the men and women's side. Ryan Van Hoy really changing that whole entire program around. And now we got Craig Engels coming to Slow to come train with him as well. And then on the Pac-12 side, the story has to be Stanford destroying the records on the UCR agriculture course. All Stanford men breaking Cam Levin's record that he set in 2011, that huge standard, and they all completely shattered it, looking relaxed. And the performance of the day has to go to Micaiah Badeau, who went out there and completely shined. And if he can run like this at the NCAA conference, shoot, I think they're the favorite over BYU. I'm not the only one that believes the Stanford men are going to be the favorite for NCAAs. We have Mick, Bryne, the legendary Iona and Wisconsin cross-country coach, coming out and saying, kind of like sneaky, saying this is a little inside scoop right here. In one of their vlogs, Manny Mooney, one of the runners on the Wisconsin's women's team.
Your favorite now. Let's see how good you are. AJ, favorite for the NC2As, right there.
Stanford?
Yeah.
See, I feel all your pain because you coached me.
Favorite.
As you can see in this clip, Mick Bryne, like he's really thinking what all we're thinking. Let's see, Stanford, you guys are in this position. You ain't the underdogs. You guys are the favorite going into this season. They haven't been the favorite in a cool minute. Let's see how good they really do. It really just shows me how everybody's thinking around the country too. And definitely after this past performance, that like Stanford, they're looking like they are in a whole different league. Similarly, how NAU was looking back with the back last year and just a couple years ago, you feel me? But now Stanford is on this whole different wave, really leading the way as we go into the postseason. But it's really gonna be interesting how BYU is gonna stack up, because like the BYU man with Casey Klinger, God, it's crazy. It's gonna be exciting. Now joining on the running report, I'm joined with Tim Men's very own Sam Parsons, world championship finalist this past year in the 5,000 meters from Germany. Join us, and we're not talking about the track today. We're gonna talk about the New York City Marathon coming up this Sunday on ESPN2. It's going to be exciting. Let's start off with the women's race first, Sam, because honestly, it's low-key been highlighted by dropouts. Paris Jepchirchir first drops out. We just got word that Sarah Hall dropped out, which is super disappointing, but like it's still a super stacked field, probably highlighted with Helen Obiri making her debut. And then we have the world champion in this race as well with Gautam Gebrselassie. But Sam, what are you thinking about for the women's race? What are we going to see?
Yeah, I have like the inside scoop here in Boulder. I've been getting flybys from Helen on her crazy long runs that like I've been hearing, and like I don't know if she posted on Strava or not, but I'm hearing talks of like 18, 19, 20 mile long runs that she's just clipping off 540s like it's nothing on these rolling dirt hills. And that's something that I know, like if I'm doing, I know I'm in great shape and she's doing it. So I think she's totally going to live up to the hype. I think she's taking home the dub without a doubt.
Really?
I think she's going to I think she's going to run away from the field. I think she's going to get antsy early and make a big move like we saw in Chicago happen. And I think she's going to, get a course record. I think all the intangibles are there. I think as long as she gets her fueling right, like there's nothing that's going to hold her back. And I don't think there's anyone that's going to come within even a minute of her.
Wait, that's a bold statement right there. Like, because I'm thinking too. Because,
dude, I think
like
she's
I said,
on another level right now. Like, I think she's fresh. She's got like I feel like there's a lot of times where people talk about like marathon veterans and everything, and there's a lot to that, 100%. But I think there's also something to be said for someone that's never done it and are just gonna go for it, have no fear, and I think she has, the talent to back it up.
Before we get to the men, though, because you mentioned veterans, Edna Kiplagat, like she's in this race.
Oh
she's
yeah, no doubt
of the vet, and like she just learned like 3 weeks ago that she's supposed to be the real winner of Boston in 2021.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like I feel like she's gonna have a little mean streak in her, and she may run away.
Something does happen to Helen. If something does happen to Helen, whether she misses the bottle or just goes out way too hot and is just too excited with the New York crowd and starts hitting those bridges, Edna's gonna be there. We know Edna's gonna be there. She's gonna bring it, 2:19:50, like tried and true. She's made so many like world championship podiums now, world major marathon podiums. We know she's going to be battling. She knows these streets better than anybody. She knows when to conserve. She's the tried and true veteran in this race. I'm cheering for Edna. Edna also is a woman that I see in Boulder all the time at the track, ripping repeats. So I know she's ready too. There's no limping or anything going on. Any inside things are all good things. So I'm definitely high on Edna. My list is a clear one. It's very Boulder heavy. Got to be Helen for the win, Edna coming in silver, and then Emma Bates getting her bronze, getting that American top finish, taking down Kira Di Matteo. She's going to do it.
Hey, that would be a fantastic race to definitely see. I'm excited. You made me more excited for this women's race just from off of your picks, and Helen Obiri possibly destroying this field by over a minute. I'll be very excited to see that as well. But then let's move over to the men's race real quick. We mentioned the Americans, Emma Bates. We also have Galen Rupp as an American in this race. His first time ever on a New York City course, but he is facing the first place and the runner-up from last year in this race as well. So it's going to be exciting to see how Albert Carrere and Mohamed El Abre of Morocco are going to shape up after running this course last year and going 1-2 in it. And then we also have a great field. Even Evan Chabet, the Boston Marathon winner, is in this as well. Just how are you looking? How do you feel like this men's race is going to shape up? And let me not mention Reed Fisher of 10-Man Elite going out there doing his thing as well.
Yeah, I could talk all day about Reed. He's gonna let the race do his talking. I know he's just really confident right now. He's even keeled. That's Reed's secret. is, you know, he's treating this race week, you know, the same way he treated the first week of marathon training. He's just being himself, and he always just races out of his mind. And yeah, he's a cool customer, you know, like he's going to execute properly. He's going to eat people up. He's not going to, you know, let like the early excitement of New York City get to him.
Yeah.
And I know that he's going to execute late in the race. I definitely think he's got a shot at being top American. He's got a ton of, you know, competition, like you said, with Rupp, you know, with Scott Fauble, you know, tried and true vets who seem always in the fight, always in the hunt, you know, hunting people down in those last, you know, 10K, like we've seen these past few years at Boston. I'm all in on Evan Chibet, my Addy brother-in. I think that if he can crush the Boston course the way he did, he can also do it in New York. He's going to be coming off those high altitude camps, and I think he's going to take it. I think it's going to be a sprint finish. I think it's going to be an iconic race, you know, between him and some of those other heavy hitters that you mentioned before. Yeah, I really hope it's a battle to the line. Some of those past races that we've seen New York come down to the wire, and I think it's going to be no different in the men's race. The guy I'm so excited about is Shadrack, making his marathon debut.
Yeah.
Seen him so many times now, just battling it out for wins in like the USATF road circuit. And I just saw what Elkanah did, you know, last year. And I know that they are training partners a lot of the time. And he's going to be wearing the shoes. He's going to be excited. Really think he's going to bring it. I think he's going to be a guy that a lot of people are talking about, that he is here to stay, and he's going to be almost a surefire pick for the 2024 marathon team for the U.S. It's hard to always bet against Rupp, but I'm going to. And then I got to give a shout out to Ben True. I think he's going to have a day. Just, he's a grinder. He's learned so much from New York last year, and I think that that's going to pay off big time for him this coming year too.
There's a lot of people in this race on the American side. It's going to be exciting, especially, and the race, well, they all going to be up front. Like, there's going to be a deep field on this men's side. I'm excited for this one too.
For sure, and the coverage is amazing this year, that they're following, you know, all the chase packs and everything like that. So I can't wait to watch it. I wish I was going to be there screaming my head off for Reed. But a lot of our boys are going to be there. So yeah, if you see Reed, give him a shout. Go Tin Man. Let's get him going.
Most definitely. But we appreciate you, Sam, joining us for this little segment, man. We're definitely going to have to do it again, especially during the track season or something. We're going to have to figure something out for bringing you back on.
Sure. We'll chop it up.
Yesterday, the World Athletics announced in a press release postponing the Guangzhou World Athletics Relays coming up that were supposed to be this May, the 2025. They released a statement stating that this decision was taken with the agreement of both the Guangzhou Organizing Committee and the Chinese Athletics Association due to the ongoing pandemic conditions. They're really just doing this in the safety of the athletes and everything like that. This also went into the effects of how the qualification system will further go for the relays at this upcoming World Athletics Championships in Budapest 2023, saying that the 8 teams that qualified in the 4 relays at the World Athletics Championships in the 4x1 and 4x4 will automatically qualify for Budapest 23. Then they'll do the regular qualifying rankings for the remaining 8 teams that will qualify just through times and arrogant times and everything like that. Just pretty simple from performance lists as we go forward. The World Athletics 2024 Relays Championships will be announced this coming month on November 30th in a World Athletics Council meeting. Now, after that little bit of somber news, let's end off on a positive note. In Heathrow Airport in England, a half marathon took place by the YouTube channel Josh and Archie. Wow, like there was actually people in the airport, flights taking off and everything like that. These guys ran a full half marathon. It was won by professional runners. It was ran by professional runners. Dan Jarvis of England, who runs for England, won it in a 67:30. Pretty fast time for in a marathon. He's an English runner who competes professionally for pure sport right now. This guy went out there and did that in an airport. That's just very peculiar, but they got it done. Josh and Archie have just about 1.5 million subscribers. They're YouTubers from England, and I just like the running content, bro. I like the running content, you feel me? Let's keep it fresh and everything like that. Like, man, we should have thought of this video. We could have done this in LAX, you feel me? But I'm just saying, it's good for them, you feel me? Good for them. An amazing video. I want to see more stuff like this in the running world. Just get people out, you feel me? Let people know that we got people like Dan Jarvis who are willing to run in airports. Like, very interesting video. You guys should check out the full thing on Josh and Archie's YouTube channel. But hey, shout out Dan Jarvis for your dub, bro. Hey, we'll see y'all next week on the Running Report. Thank you guys for joining us, everything like that, bro. Comment down below, subscribe, share with a friend, all that stuff. Y'all know the deal. Let's get it.